Hey guys, Justin here. We're going to talk about a few things. First, I want to start with the storm that happened just prior to Christmas from Minneapolis to Duluth, northwest Wisconsin. Brought several inches of snow. I just want to recap that to see how we did, maybe somewhere we can improve. We're going to look at a snowmaker for Sunday afternoon. Primarily, most of Wisconsin will see some snow, but the heaviest amounts will be in east central Wisconsin with that system, it appears at the moment. And then another system, perhaps more snow for the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday timeframe. I'll get an exact date on that when we get closer into looking through the details. But those are your three things. Let's get right into it. Here's a video loop of the radar and reports and warnings. You're seeing there was a band that set up from Minneapolis up to Duluth and over to Ashland during this event. I'm going to let it go through one more time. That was right on target. The snow amounts, I don't know if they totally got there or not. You're seeing it right here, yep, and it spun through. In addition to the wind and everything else, okay, you had blizzard warnings in Minneapolis and Minnesota. So let's go take a look at another view here. All right. And this I'm going to move over. Okay. So this is my forecast. And again, I'm just showing you this because I'm checking to see was it somewhat accurate, or because if it wasn't, I'd have to make some changes. And I think overall we were on target. The issue was the snow amounts weren't totally all there. And I had a 10 to 15 inch zone in this red zone right there. And I just don't feel like we totally were there overall. I think I nailed the location of the band. You're seeing a 13-inch zone, 13-inch report just southwest of Duluth, and you're seeing lots of nines in the Minneapolis area. And with all the blowing and drifting too, I wonder, how accurate some of these are. But for the most part, they all seem to be coming out around 9. So I would say it's probably pretty close to that number for that zone for that area. Notice there's no reports in the Hinckley area, so there's a missing area that we don't know. But I wouldn't be surprised to see that there were between 8 and 13 inches of snow in that zone. And then if you look over to Ashland, in Ironwood, we had up in Ashland 11 and 10 inches, just west of the city there. Ironwood, there was a 14-inch report, which is outside my heavy zone, but that's okay. I think a 6 to 10 would have covered it pretty well, and in hindsight, and with a few locally higher amounts. But yeah, and then I look at some of this other stuff going on in here. From Wabasha up to Ladysmith, there was a 3 to 6 inch zone, and I feel pretty good about that. But maybe it could have been a little lower on the. And then a 1 to 3 from Wausau, east of Ladysmith, east of Eau Claire, 1 to 3 there, and I think I did really well with that. And then there was the winds. There was some really strong wind gusts in the La Crosse area, with some damage there. But overall, throughout the entire region, it was windy. So yeah, that's what happened with the last storm. So I feel good about it. Initially, I felt kind of bad about the 10 to 15, but now when I look at the reports, I feel better. So, okay, moving off of the old storm, moving on to what's coming up next for Sunday afternoon. This is off of the NAM, low-res NAM, and I'm just going to take it through here. What I'm looking at, what I'm kind of noticing is here's a low-pressure system. That's kind of a weak to moderate low-pressure system for this time of year, and it's moving off, I believe, like this, but you'll see as I go through. Not much in the way of winds. I mean, these isobars are kind of close, but I would say it's kind of weak overall. You're seeing light snow up in here, light snow up in here with this model run. They've been a little bit different on the 12Z. They kind of were more in agreement on the northern end of Wisconsin. But anyway, I think that as this storm moves this way, it does get a little stronger, a little bit more organized for this zone of Wisconsin. And you're seeing some darker shades of blue in here as we go through time. So we'll see that now. Coming through, there's your darker shades of blue. So that's a little bit heavier rate of snow, and I'm sure you could do better than the 11 to 1 or 10 to 1 ratios on the snowfall amounts. So you could get some areas where they're up near 3 or even 4 inches, and that's coming through on the models pretty consistently now. Again, a 1 to 3 would cover most of the state, but I really think the only chance you're going to get for 3 or 4 inch amounts would be over in here, sort of. Just northwest of that low pressure track where it's just somewhat organized. And the timing is somewhat favorable. Again, it's in the afternoon. I guess actually no, technically no, but the temperatures are not, obviously if it's snowing, they're cool enough to support snow. So my forecast is this, as I've mentioned, the reason why I think there's going to be a 2 to 4 inch zone here. Now, like I said, I could go 1 to 3, but I don't know. I'm gonna risk it for the biscuit, I suppose. I don't know. I like to try to thread the needle and see what I can do and see what's realistic. And there should probably be a 2 to 4 over here somewhere, but I didn't include it because I wasn't not really too worried about Lower Michigan. Here's the 7-day forecast, as I mentioned. The storm for Sunday afternoon. Here, this is off of Oshkosh. So if you live in Eau Claire, maybe it looks a little different. But yeah, the temperatures here kind of hovering. I'll show you a temperature forecast in a second. But here's the midweek system. Looks like for Tuesday and Wednesday time frame, maybe some light flurries at the end there, and I'll go into detail on that. Let's look at the temperature graph, kind of hovering back and forth around average with maybe a warmer day on Wednesday. We'll see about that. Some of the models have trended colder, so maybe we're back towards average for that time frame too. And here too, 28 for a low and a high on Tuesday, but that's kind of strange. But anyways, yeah, nothing too glaringly above or below, which is okay, I guess. Okay, let's talk about this next system. And I have the European on here. I wonder if I want to start this a little bit differently. Yes, I do. Okay, we're going to go over to the GFS and we'll go back to what I was talking about before. Now, the models are still changing. Okay, if you look, and you'll see this as I go through, but the models initially, the last several days, even since before Christmas, we're looking like there's going to be a pretty major system. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So it's just before the new year across Wisconsin, Minnesota. Right now, what I'm seeing on the 12Z model, especially with the European, but overall, I just feel like a little step back, and that gives me a reason to pause, just not to go too deep into it. It's good that we wait, okay? It's great that you wait till you get to about 3 days before the event, and then you start ratcheting it up. Right now, we're just kind of speculating. We're always speculating and making a guess, but right now, we're even more so just kind of sitting back and watching the situation. This is the GFS. This is the 12Z model run. It's still on the more aggressive end. For the midweek system, we're picking it up at noon on Tuesday, okay? So what this is showing you at noon on Tuesday is a region of snow here for Minnesota, Dakotas, northern Iowa. And then a mixture here. And the low pressure system all the way back here, that's kind of coming out like this a little bit. Okay, not exactly like that, but you get the point. As we go through time, on Tuesday night, so this is 6 p.m. Tuesday, you're seeing the snow move into Wisconsin. With some heavier bands, some heavier snowfall rates going into early Wednesday morning. So overnight Tuesday into Wednesday on the GFS. Now there is also a timing difference, and we'll talk about that probably a little bit later. But you're seeing that there could be a heavy snow zone here Tuesday night and Wednesday morning for Wisconsin. But as we go through the evening, it's not that it falls apart, it's that the warm air kind of moves further north and the low pressure system doesn't intensify, it just kind of floats by. And so you get this area of warmth that moves north, turning the rain to snow. And this is probably not a lot of rain. I know in the GFS, with it's still being more aggressive, had some heavier rains in there, but to me this looks more like scattered showers. With a more of a focus band in here somewhere at this forecast hour. So this is 6 a.m. on Wednesday on the GFS, showing you that the snow's starting to move off already. So again, we'll go through this completely by Wednesday noon, and then by Thursday, so still Wednesday 6 p.m. Moving off, okay, with maybe a little bit of light snow hanging off on the backside, but this to me does not mean anything. Okay, the damage will be done going back to Tuesday night into very early Wednesday morning. That's where your accumulation will be, and I'll explain why. If you're looking at this from a high level, you're seeing you're kind of looking for where's the major blizzard, where's the major winter storm aspect of this, because you're seeing the snow move through, but you're not seeing everything else. You see some tighter isobars there, suggesting there could be some wind at some point, but nothing major. You're seeing, well, if you're looking at the snowfall predictions, you're seeing a lot of snow, but you're not seeing it, the other visual optical end of this system. So I'll explain. We'll go through it. The reason there's what this system is a little funky, and that is another reason to just kind of play it slow, not get too aggressive with it. This is actually Sunday. This is showing you that system, which actually has a decent 850 millibar low pressure center here that moves across Wisconsin, which is nice for organization. Again, we're not talking too much about that. We've kind of moved on now. So as we go into early next week, the system comes out of the Central Plains. This is the bigger one that we're talking about. And I mean, the low pressure be somewhere in here, somewhere. What you see here is a lot of warm air advection because I have this tuned to the temp advection prog prediction. And because this is a positively tilted system, you're seeing that warm air advection more so. You're not seeing so much on the cold air advection side of things. And the surge here is what's driving most of the precipitation across this region. So unlike when you have a major system, you have a little bit of this and then you have a little bit of everything else. And right now I'm seeing a lot more of the warm air front end side of things than I do the back side. Pulling around, usually with a major system, you get a cold air conveyor. You get the Arctic kind of going in more so like this, because this is actually a southern stream system, and ideally you'd want to see this, but with this arrangement, it's not quite that. It's somewhat, but it's mostly a southern stream system because the Arctic is not really totally in phase actually. Okay, but that's what's driving this. Mainly the heavier snow bands there Tuesday night to Wednesday morning, and so that's got its own characteristics. I'll just play this through again. Go towards Tuesday. There's the surge of warm air advection at the 850 millibar level, and then as you go into during the day on Wednesday, it all kind of weakens. The warm air advection moves away, but you don't really have much going on the backside here. Maybe some cold air advection where you get that cold front moving through and a little bit of light snow showers in the back end. Okay. At the 500 millibar level, and I just really wanted to show you this, I always like to get some sort of high-level context. To me, I see on the GFS, now look at how deep this trough goes. That's pretty cool, but this is a lot of southern stream energy moving north. I don't see the Arctic as involved with this, and that's part of why you're seeing the weirdness, but also this is positively tilted as it goes through this trough. So you're tending to get the flow that's coming like this, more south to north, with a big surge of warm air advection. Okay, everything we've covered already, just hitting it twice. I want to take this one step back because something caught my eye with this whole pattern of the next 7 days. And maybe it's useless or maybe it's not, but I find it interesting. We're looking for that. This is on Sunday night, Monday morning. You're seeing actually this Arctic jet kind of merge and phase with this lower southern stream system, and this is our Sunday night event, and that's actually pretty decent looking. That nice phasing, you see it right there come together, and then you have a situation where it's zonal flow or diffuse flow or nothing's. It's sort of like this is what it's supposed to look like, but to me, it's just more of this. Okay, you have a nice phasing here, but this is out of phase. And then here comes your low pressure system, and you would want something, the Arctic, to kind of merge with it there. And I just don't see that too much going on. I see it a little bit, but it could be better. And it looks like on the GFS, it's even the GFS, which is more aggressive, is somewhat late. So just meteorological terms, just something I find interesting as we go through the event. It's pretty sharp and not so much on the backside. Not too much going on here. No energy rounding the base coming up and through. It's all on the front side. So what this tells me is you can get a more progressive system, a more weaker system, a more further south system than progged currently, that has been progged with this arrangement. Okay, because this is all moving through really fast. This is really fast upper level flow. Okay, so you kind of get where I'm going with this, right? Anyways, here is all right. This is what I got. Is the European. Now, did I talk about this? No, I didn't. Actually, so now I'm going back a little bit in my little PowerPoint spreadsheet thing. Not spreadsheet, PowerPoint. Sorry, I'm like used to Excel and I say spreadsheets all the time. We're just going to look at how this forecast has evolved each run since late last week. We're going all the way back to the 22nd. No, let's go 23rd, right? So on the 23rd, I'm going to leave my mouse kind of where it is. This is sort of looking like the GFS is now. Again, the position, the strength is all a little bit different. Okay, this is the European, and it's highly regarded for its medium range forecasting ability. It tends to outperform. So, okay, so this is what it is. This is what it looks like the next run. This is the next run. This is the next run. Okay, it's this one to this one was really different. Timing, too, is probably a little bit different. You're going, okay, this looks like a pretty strong system with an occlusion going on over southeast Minnesota. This was on I want to see, what day is this? Oh, this is on the 25th, so this is yesterday. No, what's today? Today's Sunday. Oh, this is Christmas. Sorry, this is Christmas Day? Christmas Eve? Christmas Eve. Sorry, my days are all mixed up with the holiday. But anyways, so that's what it looked like a couple days ago. This was yesterday. No, this is still a couple days ago. Anyways, my point is this. Okay, watch how this evolves. Moving through each run, going forward, and then the latest run. Okay, wow. What happened there, huh? What happened there? This is the latest 12Z European run from today. So I'm going to double check. Is it? The reason my timing just feels really messed up for a second. Today's the 26th. What is today? Today is Saturday? Seriously? Wow. All right. Yeah. Anyways, so today's run is a lot different, okay? That's my point. And it's from what it's been showing. This is a reason to stop and go, wait a minute. Let's just step back for a minute and go, let's watch this evolve. Let's not get too aggressive. Let's not go down the route of major blizzard. Again, it was showing a lot of stuff going on here in the last few runs, but and this is just a certain moment in time, right? I'm just showing you that moment in time. Let's go to the comparison between the European and the GFS. This for six. This is going to be midnight Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. Comparing the GFS to the European and some of the other models, and you're seeing the GFS here showing you those heavy bands of snow on the 12Z run right in there. Okay, that's pretty heavy. I mean, I won't be surprised to see an inch per hour snowfall rates with that. With that warm air advection again, right? On the front end, on the leading edge of the system, not so much wrapping around. Okay, very important to note. And then you get this mixture coming through, moving up. So a lot's going to depend on the thermal profile in here. But this is the GFS. Now let's compare the European for that same exact time frame. Okay, it looks a little bit different, looks a little bit slower. Where's the low pressure system? Okay, here's the GFS. It's in this model run, it's in Iowa. In the European, it's still hanging back probably, what is that, Kansas? Southwest of Missouri. So we have issues here, okay? This isn't something you can go totally crazy with right now. GFS and Canadian for the heck of it. Wow, look at how cold that is. So you have the GFS, which is the warmest, Canadian, which is the coldest, and the European, which is somewhere in between, but still kind of towing the party line on that one. Okay, this is helpful context, right? All right, we went through that. So let's talk about snowfall amounts. And this is another interesting one. We're going to go back to the European on a 10-to-1 ratio. One thing to note is the European only lets me do a total accumulated snowfall for the entire period. So from right now all the way through the end of the event. So that includes Sunday, okay? Going back to some of these older runs from Friday, Thursday, and Friday. Okay, wow, you're looking at this on Thursday going, wow, man, we really need to watch this. Obviously that snowstorm was still, so this is including the snowstorm from Thursday. But as you go into Friday, okay, now we're starting to zero in on this time frame that we're talking about right now. And you're going, wow, this is seeming like a pretty significant thing going on here. I'm just kind of going back and forth between these. Looking like Minneapolis again, looking like Southeast Minnesota. But as we go into this weekend, so again, I've determined that it is Saturday as I'm doing this. It's 1:29 p.m. on 12/26/2020. Okay? Okay, watching this going for the last three runs. This is yesterday, this last night, and this morning. Look at that. Okay, so you see what's going on here? That's a big change. Okay, we are pretty close to, 120 hours out. Okay, we're not almost at 3 days, but not quite. So, something to keep an eye on. Just going to compare some of these other models. And this is going to the 24-hour. So what I did here is I took the GFS Cucero ratio method, and I did a 24-hour only accumulation from, looks like midday on Wednesday. So this encapsulates all the heavy snow period based on the GFS there from Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, showing you, wow, for that 24-hour block, the heaviest snow is coming through central Wisconsin on the GFS. Wow. Yeah, I mean, that would be something to be worried about, but, is this legit? Is this actually going to happen? Looking at the Canadian for that exact same time frame, totally different. That's a red flag, okay? So keep your eyes peeled. So yeah, anyway, and in this situation, it's kind of bizarre because with warm air advection, you don't always get the high significant several inches amounts. Like you don't typically get the 15 inches of snow in that warm air advection in this situation scenario. Yes, it does happen, okay, but not typically not like this. Okay, that's why I'm a little bit hesitant and a little bit skeptical of what's coming up. This is the 10-to-1 again, just comparing different models. GFS to the this is GFS high res. This is probably a little bit different than the European high res, but and the GFS high res is different from the regular GFS, anyways. But anyway, look, comparing where the snowfall amounts are, just the bands, not necessarily the amounts, but where are they located? Okay, and we already showed you that the European is trending this way and weaker. Okay, now on the latest run, it's here, which is significantly different from what it's been showing. So that's my point on that. Okay, let's take a look at the ensembles. This is off weather.ca.edu. And I'm just looking at the ensembles for a general axis of heavy snow. And on the latest model run, it's sort of through central Wisconsin as opposed to this, okay? So that's interesting. It looks similar to the European. It's kind of a mix between the operational GFS and European. So something to note there. And then we're going to go take a look at the ensemble. These are little thumbnails. They're very hard to see. I apologize. But and I like to go through this and go, what is an agreement here? What's an outlier? How different are they? Or what possible trends could appear later on in the period? One thing I note is this one. Again, these are all just a little different. So and that's the way that's normal. So those are some situations where it's a weaker, more progressive system and a further south system. And then you also still have further north, like this one, with the low pressure system going through southeast Minnesota. Okay, but overall, is there an agreement between all these models? I mean, a lot of them are in kind of the status quo, what it's been. Yeah, that one makes sense. But this one seems to check out this one, this one. This one is okay. It's a little bit further north. So you get my point that there are a lot of variations, a lot of different ways this could still go down here. Going back to the GFS, now I want to get beyond this system. Okay, I'm just looking at this like as I see this now. One thing I noticed is the low pressure system here. This is supposed to be near the peak of the system at 102, 1002 millibar. That's a weak to moderate. I mean, that's approaching moderate status, low pressure system. So if you're trying to get 15 inches out of a moderate strength system, I don't know. You're going to have to work some magic there, and I just don't see it. But anyway, and there's other factors too. But as we go throughout the period, I want to show you January 1st. Looks like there's going to be a high pressure system. So this storm's going to move off, go bye-bye, and be replaced by high pressure for a little bit. Not a strong high pressure, but certainly something there. Please. Just going to try to get out of it. Sorry, I did something. I can't get rid of it. Sorry about that. As we go into the 2nd of January, not much going on. I mean, you would have to take this as a little. You'd have to go take these. You'd have to look at it in a higher detail later on. That's my point. I'm not saying that there's nothing going on. I'm just saying I'm looking for the big stuff. Any major storms? No, not for the next week on this model run. Beyond that system for Tuesday, Wednesday. However, a lot can change, and yeah. So that's my update. Kind of all over the place today. I apologize, but my point is this: that when you have a system that's still several days out, and models have been, you've seen a lot of hype already. People are already worried about it. Okay, people are already thinking we're going to have a massive snowstorm next week. I'm just coming in here to be, honest with you that this thing can change 100 ways to Sunday. I mean, this is not set in stone, and I'm just kind of watching it evolve. And you should too, right? You shouldn't just jump to a conclusion. You should watch the information come in and observe the trends. And then you get to that final day or two and say it might snow and you watch it and it turns out, wow, we might get 6 to 10 and, boom, you get it and it's magic. But, if you kind of make this expectation in your head that it's going to be a massive snowstorm, long before there's any certainty that it might happen, you kind of set yourself up for failure or disappointment. So, just watch it evolve. I've explained why the system looks the way it does. Again, here, warmer advection, dominated, and somewhat of a progressive system, which can turn weaker or who knows? Maybe some magic happens and it turns out stronger. But yeah, it's kind of weird. My 2 cents is it's just kind of weird to see such a warm air, because typically with a warm air advection, and I'm gonna just go into detail on this. You'll get a strong surge of snow for a few hours, and you can pick up a few inches relatively quickly. But typically, that warm air is going to move in really quick, and kind of turn to rain or a mix, and then you actually have compression from the mix on top of the snow that was probably a high ratio, pretty nice crystal that compresses down, into that empty space, and so the snowfall amounts don't go anywhere after the mix starts, and so it's just one of those things where we'll be watching, and I was already gonna, I'm already kind of thinking, okay, what kind of path am I going to go down thought wise as we get longer, deeper into this forecast period. So, anyways, I've been going on for 25 minutes. This is all I want to talk about today. I thank you guys for watching and sticking with me. And I'll have more information on the website. And I hope you guys had a happy Christmas, a good Christmas. And I hope you guys, if I don't hear from you, a really good January 1st, a really good New Year. I hope this next year is a lot better than 2020, because so far it's kind of been a poop show. But anyways, take it easy, guys, and I'll talk to you soon.